Hey guys, this is a little experiment I'm doing called On the Soapbox, where I have a topic that I do a deep dive with in a conversation with maybe friends or something, and I bring up that conversation and stuff. You can take it however you want. I think some cases it's going to be obvious satire and prodding stuff. And if you want to take it as serious, you can, but no, this is not serious. This is just people goofing around and just looking into stuff, in some cases like this, way deeper than it needs to be. In this scenario, it's going to be about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and hidden racism that we think may be in it with underlying tones. Of course, everybody knows that there is some racism in Dragon Ball Z with, Mr. Popo being obviously a blackface character that originally spoke in a broken dialect and being super unintelligent. Um and of course Frieza calling people monkeys, which yeah, we all know what that means. And if you say we don't, come on, really. Um if you want to know what the whole thing is the character on the screen right now. It's my character Ronnie Eclipse. Um and he's standing on a soapbox. The art was done by an artist, and I'm just making something so you're not staring at my evil mug. Again, this is completely satire. You can see it in its own way. I think some of these arguments could be valid. Some of them are just us overthinking and doing a joke too far. So again, this is not to offend people. This is not meant for anything. This is just meant purely for entertainment. I am not endorsing or saying anything. I'm just doing a joke, and I thought we did bring up some pretty funny stuff. So, in Dragon Ball, one of the theories that I came up with as a joke was Dragon Ball is secretly about abandoning your culture and your original society to fit into norms, and the only time that you can embrace your uniqueness is if it is in a way that benefits others, but you still gotta keep it a secret. Um, there's other characters that are loners, with Piccolo obviously, as we put it, being a black character, and the Namekians kind of being black. Um, Especially with the voice and tone and stuff like that, and obviously the weight training stuff being the way it is. Um, but I put it further as, what if actually there was multiple races that were kind of considered black or blackish characters, um, that would represent minorities, and the Namekians technically were one of them, but I would also say the Saiyans, because we pointed out, hey, they basically transform into giant monkeys. And in the series, to quickly adapt into like human society, they quickly lose their tails and the ability to transform into their more powerful forms until later ones where it becomes they get the form at one point. It's really confusing, and like go back into a more humanish form with the fur on it. Obviously monkey reference there, blah blah blah. But we were also joking that technically Goku could be a black character, with the thesis that he was a black character taking out of society and the norms of black culture in general, so he has nothing to do with it, since technically in the series him with a bunch of other babies were sent out from the Saiyan homeworld to basically go cause destruction. So they never really grew up knowing their real culture and Goku's true nature. kills his grandfather, and once he starts realizing what other cultures are outside of his bubble, he got to start adapting. He meets Chi-Chi, they have a kid, he becomes one of the world's worst fathers. Not going to say he's the worst, but come on, you can admit the dude abandons his kids all the time to fight. But we're bringing up Piccolo and how Piccolo technically could be an outsider. He is an outsider. Could be the thing for black outsiders who don't want to be part of society but have to accept that there's some stuff that they have to do. But he's seeing Gohan as somebody who is mixed and showing them black culture while his mom is trying to teach him proper. That was an interesting thing we brought up. Again, take it like you see it. Yeah, as for transforming into the monkey, I think I already said that. Where it's basically, in some aspects, certain groups of people are better than others. I'm not saying racism, I'm not saying this, but some cultures developed in different ways to where maybe they developed a need to be able to cover long distances or be able to keep up with their prey back in the day, and that kind of a thing that got into that evolution of their area. So you can check that. What else do we do? Oh, we also brought up the Namekians, which basically we will get to when we talk about Frieza, the embodiment of racism itself. But we also brought up the other characters like Mr. Popo being a racist character, and what was it? And his caretakers on top of the giant platform. I forgot what their names are. Yay, I'm bad with names. And we're joking about them where they're basically also staying over society but trying to watch over it as being protectors of some mystical force that nobody really knows about. And there's rumors of it, but very few people can harness it. While having a interracial gay couple downstairs, basically of their tower, where they basically have drugs, which when people figure out that they're beneficial, but there's all these rumors and stuff about it being bad, and nobody wants to really take them because nobody knows the benefits of them, and everybody thinks, well, what of it? Stuff like that. So you kind of got things with that, with the magic beans representing drugs that can be beneficial, but nobody embraces them. As for Frieza, basically Frieza's the epitome of racism, calling people monkeys, looking down on other races. Basically having a whole army where he goes and fights people and tries to rule over people and performs a mass genocide at one point of basically entire species of people. Again, I think Frieza is pretty on point for what everything he represents as basically being as pure evil as you can get. Where basically the Namekians are a group of people that are like, hey, we're wanting to do our own thing. We're chilling over here doing our own shit, having our own culture. Frieza's like, nah, screw that. Also, my mic's too close to my face. Just realizing that it's like, screw that, nah, I can't have you being all free and stuff. Blows up their planet, forces them to go and adapt to human life, where they're uneasily kind of accepted in. And you really kind of don't figure it out because they basically stay there for a while, wish their planet back, and go back to their own planet. And kind of that ends there, where it's like, maybe cultures can't blend. But as for Frieza, he represents pure racism. And I believe, unlike my friends, that he may represent gang violence where he has alien species under his control that go out in groups, terrorize people such as the Ginyu Force, where basically they're his elite people to cause chaos and inside his role and scare people. Um what was the other thing? Also, we talked about how horrible the writing of this stuff in general was, with obviously everybody making the running joke that villains just pop out of nowhere. Um, we made the joke that gang violence was represented by Cell because he at one point creates other cells and stuff like that. But I kind of see it as an extreme mix of culture where you have part of yourself hating the other parts of yourself and trying to say that you're superior because what you are, which will fall in racism and I would say extreme groups such as like the Black Panthers, the KKK, Nation of Islam, which is not saying anything about Islam, it's just their name is that, and they are basically, in my opinion and a lot of other people's opinion, an extremist group that preaches racism to trick people into believing they're being empowered. If you look at it, a lot of the people, when they finally discover, as you can put it, real Islam, they realize the stuff that the Nation of Islam is preaching is not what real Islam is about, and they quickly abandoned it. Malcolm X did that, and a bunch of other people did that. And I'm trying to come up with other stuff that we had. All the other stuff is just theories. So I'm just going to end this here. This is long enough rant. This is a stupid video to post anyway, but I'm just going to post it because screw it. First video to do it. Hey, it may get a good response. It may not. What are your opinions on some of the stuff that you see in anime that may be subtle racist comments or obvious racist comments and stuff like that? Has anime grown in general? I believe so, because, you know, I think that while some of it does cater to the Japanese audience a lot, you are seeing a little bit more international influence on it. You're also seeing the definition of what is an anime kind of getting brought in to where different countries are kind of being brought into the, if it's made here, is it technically a cartoon or is it technically anime type of aspect. But yeah, that's gonna be the video. Thank you for watching. This is probably gonna be a horrible video that I'm going to delete in the future, but just gonna give it a try. Thank you for taking the time to watch. And I've made you this format for some other stuff, such as what I think free-to-play game models are good at, what they're bad at, what to avoid, scumbag publishers, may rant about one of my favorite animes and why it's good, and why I wish that they would actually do more things for it or do another reboot. But that's for a different time. I've taken enough of your time. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.